Is everyone set up on the press side? All right, so my name is Rolando Boni. I'm the Public Information Officer for the City of Antioch. So as far as speaking order, the Mayor of Antioch, Mr. Lamar Thorpe, will begin, followed by our Chief of Police, Mr. Tammany Brooks. I know some of you had some questions and concerns regarding an earlier shooting at a nearby target. Unfortunately, that's an ongoing investigation and we don't have any facts to share at the moment. As they become available, and perhaps later throughout the day, we can share that via email, phone call, follow-up. But as of right now, we are specifically focusing on the death in custody that occurred this morning within the City of Antioch. So with that, I yield the floor to Mayor Thorpe.
Okay. Well, I will share that I do, while we have no information about the shooting at Target, I do want to thank our men and women who are out there patrolling our streets and making sure our community is safe. We certainly appreciate them for the work that they're doing. This is dangerous work, and we recognize that as a community. Late last night, I was informed by the Chief of Police that an individual they were seeking to detain passed away. Although the facts are still being gathered per our procedures, the Chief of Police requested that the Contra Costa County District Attorney's Office lead all criminal investigatory efforts regarding this matter. In addition, a separate independent investigation is underway to determine if any of our policies were violated during this encounter. As mayor, I want to express my deepest condolences to the family of the deceased and pray that they have some level of comfort during this loss and extreme pain. I recognize that they will not be able to achieve any comfort and peace until they have the answers that they need as it relates to their loved one. I want the residents of Antioch to know that they will be provided answers because of the thorough investigation by the District Attorney's Office. Furthermore, in the event the investigation concludes that there was any negligence, we will seek the fullest effort to ensure that there is accountability. As a former member of the United States Navy, I have always had a deep respect for the vocation of law enforcement and do believe officers entered the profession with the desire to serve. However, we also can't ignore the fact that there are critical reforms that are needed in the profession as a whole, nationwide. And so, for that reason, I am going to expedite the police reform measures that I talked about earlier in the week, and I will be calling for a special meeting this Friday at 5 o'clock, where we will go through all of those reforms and start deciding whether or not the council is going to move forward with those efforts. With that, I'll hand it over to the Chief of Police.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This morning, just after midnight, the Antioch Police Department received a call from a man rambling incoherently. During the course of the 911 call, another man could be heard in the background with the caller arguing over the possession of a phone. At one point during the call, there were sounds of a physical struggle as well. Around the same time, our dispatch center received a call that a Lyft driver activated a mobile alert and needed police assistance with a subject who attempted to steal his cell phone and who had fled from his vehicle. 2 officers were sent to the area of Lone Tree Way and Ridge Rock Drive with very limited information after the man called a second time and gave his location. When officers arrived, the man appeared paranoid, yelling that they were not really police officers, despite the fact they were in fully marked APD police cars and in full uniform. The officers attempted to employ crisis negotiation tactics while attempting to de-escalate the situation. After a short time, the man ran into oncoming traffic on Lone Tree Way. He attempted to enter a car that was stopped at a red light by pulling on the door handle and banging on the window, yelling for the driver to let him inside. After nearly being struck by several vehicles, officers believe the man was putting himself, the public, and the officers in imminent danger and moved in an effort to try and detain him. The man ran onto James Donlin Boulevard, where officers caught up with him. He lost his footing and fell to the ground. A struggle ensued as officers tried to gain control of the man and get him out of the roadway as vehicles continued to pass by them. According to the officers, the man exhibited extraordinary strength and they were unable to gain control of his arms. A third officer arrived on scene and deployed his taser, which allowed them to overcome the man's resistance. Almost immediately, after being able to get the subject in handcuffs, he appeared to lose consciousness, and the officers recognized this as a medical emergency. Officers immediately began CPR, applied an automated external defibrillator, and administered 2 doses of Narcan, a medication used to counteract the effects of opioid drugs. Based on the knowledge of facts as reported to me through the investigation thus far, I will share with you that no knee or other limb was ever applied to the man's neck during this incident. There was no use of pepper spray or impact weapons. No hand or leg strikes were used, and the carotid restraint hold was never attempted. Medical personnel arrived and took over medical intervention and transported the man to a local area hospital where he was later pronounced deceased. On behalf of the Antioch Police Department, I would like to convey my deepest sympathies to the man's friends and family. At this time, we are unable to disclose the man's name, pending identification and notification of his next of kin. I can share with you that our officers are completely devastated by what occurred last night. For that reason, we are making counselors available to our officers in order to help them navigate through the emotions this tragedy has created. The involved officers have been placed on paid administrative leave at this time, as is customary in these types of situations. I do recognize that as devastated as we may feel, it does not compare to the pain felt by the family of the deceased. To ensure transparency, impartiality, and public confidence in the investigatory process, the Contra Costa County District Attorney's Office is leading this investigation, and they will have the full cooperation of my staff. In the event the District Attorney's investigation determines that our officers acted unlawfully, I want the public to know that I would request and expect the involved officers to be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Additionally and separately, there will be an independent third-party administrative investigation into this incident. Should there be any violation of Antioch Police Department policies, I can assure the community I will hold these officers accountable for their actions. Regardless of the outcome, these investigations will be available for public review once completed. It is important that our community understand and have the opportunity to review the facts and circumstances surrounding this incident. We are committed to being open and transparent in this process. Our department has always been and will always be focused on the safety and well-being of our community, and I will do everything I can to continue earning your trust. Providing exceptional service to everyone is vitally important to me, as well as my officers. This is preliminary information, and additional facts and circumstances may come to light as the investigation continues. If we have additional information at a later date, we will share that with the community. Thank you.
So we can open it up now to questions. We have about 10 minutes of questions, and then we do have to keep it open. So,
Chief, this is the second person who's died in custody having a psychiatric emergency in the last 2 months, I believe. Are you comfortable with the tactics that your office is using at this point? Is it just happenstance? I mean, can you explain kind of your role in those kinds of emergencies, psychiatric episodes?
Right now, both of those incidents are currently under investigation, so it's too early to speculate, and when we get the facts, when the reports are done, we will be able to reach a conclusion and talk about it then.
What about body cameras?
Currently, the Antioch Police Department does not have body cameras, but that is one of the platforms of the mayor's reform project that he has brought forward.
Do you support that?
Absolutely.
I want to make sure I understand the struggle part of it. Were they currently in traffic when the taser was applied? Were they on the side of the road? Are there any more details about that part of it so I can understand what it looked like?
To my knowledge, they were in traffic when the struggle occurred.
Are you releasing anything about the age or where the person was from who passed away?
I could tell you he was a 33-year-old Hispanic male.
Did he live here?
We don't know yet.
Chief, how long does an investigation like this typically take?
Each investigation is unique, and it varies from circumstance to circumstance.
Are we talking 6 months, a year, 2 years? Ballpark it?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Al.
This one, the mayor said you had informed him last night after it had happened. Did
That is correct.
occur also on December 23rd with the other incident?
It did not occur that night. I was on vacation at that point, but he was informed later, but not that night.
By someone in the department?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who is he?
He asked if you were notified of the previous.
By someone in the department? No, I was not notified by
Oh.
somebody in the department.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
We're done. We're done.
Can we get the prepared remarks emailed, please?
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.